It's Sunday, April the 5th, 2020, and we're talking about the most important person who ever lived, and particularly about his last week. This week is known as Holy Week, starting with Palm Sunday to the day of his resurrection, or Easter Sunday as we know it. The Bible tells us that the gospel, the account of Jesus' life, was written so that we might believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing we may have life in his name. Now, during this last week of Jesus' life, thousands of Jewish pilgrims had gathered from around the world for the Passover feast. Jesus stayed in a town called Bethany, not very far from Jerusalem, and on Palm Sunday, Jesus arose to go into the city of Jerusalem. On the way to the city, he instructs two of his disciples to go and get him a donkey at a nearby village. He would ride on a donkey for his entrance into Jerusalem. This was a powerful symbol, a powerful symbolic act which would fulfill one of the Old Testament prophecies, a prophecy which stated that Israel's king would come riding on a donkey. As he makes his way down the Mount of Olives, the crowd who saw him understood immediately what his actions meant. So the people welcomed their king by spreading their robes and the palm branches in the path to create a royal red carpet. "Hosanna to the Son of David," they shouted. "Blessed is the coming kingdom of David." There was great joy and excitement because the king is here. Now the crowds continued to shout to anyone who haven't heard the news, all the way down the slopes of the Mount of Olives up into the city of Jerusalem. Now you would think that Jesus would use this to his advantage. But amazingly, when the religious leader tries to stop him and tries to tell him to stop the crowds, he then goes on to predict his death. And as he does this, a thunderous voice from heaven affirms what he says. And everyone heard it. The crowds continue to object that he is talking about his death, but Jesus simply gives them this command: walk in the light, which is a way of referring to himself, since he is the light of the world. To believe in the light and to walk in the light is to become a child of the light. Why would anyone want to remain in darkness if they can walk in the light? Are you a child of the light?